Do you really think I would have an affair with you? Who else is going to be here?
Molly has to bring Sally.
Hi, I'm Salley. She hooked up with Shep, and then she and Gaston used to hook up.
Nice to meet you. I've heard so much about you.
I hopefully good things.
Mostly.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of RAERAEs Review, where me and my homegirl Erin will be discussing Southern Charm, Season 10, Episode 3. Hey, Erin, how you doing?
I'm good. Ooh, excuse me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, enjoying this holiday season. Yes, I am. How's your holiday season going?
We just started winter break, so I
Yeah.
don't have to get a kid up and running to school. So I can already tell you that it's better.
More sleep, of course. Sleeping in.
Well, then the dog still needs to be walked. And she doesn't expect it, she expects the same time, kid or not. But no, I'm ready to enjoy the holiday. I feel like, once the kid gets out of school, it's really time to celebrate.
It's funny you mentioned the dogs. We had a doggy episode part in the episode.
We sure did.
That came and say it. It was some dogs being represented this episode. Was your dog watching when you were watching?
I know I should have gotten her. I should have said, Tinkerbell, come judge all these fools just like I do. Judge
all
their
the outfits
owners
and wigs and
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, if we can just get a little housekeeping out the way. We appreciate you tuning in as we navigate through these Southern Charm streets. And please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and share. I'm on my way to 500 subscribers. Did you know that they changed the requirement? It's no longer 1,000. It went from 4,000 to 1,000 to 500 subscribers minimum to start monetizing and stuff. So
that's fantastic. Well, no one deserves it more than you.
I know that's right.
Churning out these videos while furthering your career, your education, working this lady, aunties and uncles, I just want to take a moment to say you have no idea how hard this woman works. It's very admirable. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share to show your support.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Let's see, where should we begin? I guess we're just gonna begin at the top, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had, how to do the montages and everything, folks doing this and doing that, not really getting into the episode. So it was just people doing stuff, getting ready for the day, right? But the main part of the beginning was, guess what, y'all? JT, after he got read for filth last episode by his mama and auntie about, disrespecting Patricia's age, pretty much, making her feel like her age is a problem. Oh, that boy. I mean, you would think he know by now. He takes the advice of his mom and sister and starts to write her a letter. Now, Erin, what do you think about his penmanship?
I'm left-handed and I have some kind of pitiful penmanship, so I can relate. However, I don't understand why this was what he was doing. Where's the flowers? Where's the gift? Like,
We
where's the
talked about
gesture?
this.
Yeah, I don't give a crap about the note. The note, absolutely not. Should have been a beautiful thing of flowers, and the lady that's at the floral shop with the nice handwriting would put, "I'm so sorry for my offense, JT." Boom.
And I mean, ain't like he ain't got it. I mean, you
I
know,
know.
it should have been a minimum of 100 somethings coming out of a vase, multiple vases. It should have been a good 3 vase tier of apology. You know, one for the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Just get her a really beautiful
Oh,
floral arrangement and say, "I'm so sorry." Show that you are a Southern gentleman like you claim. Don't do some chicken scratch letter, like card that you drop off like a dork.
girl, and
He
didn't.
just,
I'm like, come on, dude. At least have your penmanship game up to par. It was just,
pitiful.
off the cuff. I thought he would write it down first and then transpose it into a nice, elegant looking piece of literature. But he just wrote it off the cuff. I think he may have scratched something out or something, or it just didn't look like it should. And it was all off and not aligned right. I'm like, nah, dude. Mm-mm.
An embarrassment. And listen, I am
I'm
a
just saying.
technical writer. I write for a living. Let's put it that way.
That's why I'm
And
talking to you.
And from a marketing communications perspective, that
There
was
you
not
go.
clear, concise, nor compelling. And that's what any kind of note, especially when you're trying to have a positive effect, like getting forgiveness and worming your way back into the social graces,
You the
that
expert.
the whole thing, pitiful.
He should have consulted you. I'm just saying. I understand he going by what his mom and his sister said, or whoever the lady was. But nah, dude. JT,
Mm-mm.
if you're listening, watching, and listening, or somebody who know JT is listening, watching, and listening, please let him know. As we finds out later on in the episode, uh, do, do better, please. Thank you.
Ridiculous. You could have let the flowers do all the talking and just say, "My apologies for my joke that my poorly executed joke that offended." That's
You
it.
know.
Boom.
Oh,
This
okay.
inadvertently and admittedly and blah blah. No, just send something of value. Your grody little handwriting is not of value. But anyway, we harp
Exactly.
on the silliness.
Well, next we got Shep, Lil Craig, and Austin. They having lunch, of course. And they start gossiping like these dudes always do on this show, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so this little background between their girlfriends, they're bigging up their girlfriends now that they're I'm about to say hominous, girl. What's the word?
Monogamous.
Monogamous. Thank you. See.
Well,
I
you
just
were
don't
saying
think of doing
another.
ass. So,
Hominous is like a reference to human, so like that's why I was laughing, because it's like they're acting almost human, and I'm like, God forbid the two of these, yeah.
so I was on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, monogamy is in the midst of these two. They trying to get like Craig. They hate a little bit on Craig, you know what I'm saying? But they're talking about their respectives. Austin got this girl named Audrey, not Aubrey. Audrey, and Shep got this girl named Sienna. I'm not sure if we went into any of them last week. I didn't hear much about Audrey. Did you hear much about her? I heard more about Sienna than Audrey.
Yeah. No, I think we've already made fun of both of them, but like especially for Austin getting obviously a very young girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like these dudes like to get girlfriends that are beautiful in their 20s so that they can control the situation, and these girls will mesh more to their lives than vice versa. So, although I
Mhm.
will say Sienna is not that typical type, because Shep
She's
is
not.
kind of, out of his league here a little bit with Miss Bahamas, who's a med student, and speaks several languages, and you know, a lot of things.
Yeah, accomplished, going.
Yeah.
She has a schedule, child. Shep is trying to fit into her schedule, and luckily
Mm-hmm.
she came to visit. And I was like, okay, that's cute. Then I started talking about Craig, and the one thing I didn't like was how Shep tried to reduce Craig into what he was before, as if he misses that more so than now, only because Craig isn't that available the way he was then. And I'm like, Craig has blown up, glowed up. And I think that's what Shep don't really understand. I don't think Austen was so much hating, but did you feel Shep was hating a little bit?
I mean, Craig no longer wants to go out to the bars or to the scene. He doesn't want to meet women the way that I think the two of them still like to socialize and do all that. I mean, we've seen Craig's house. I'd stay home too.
Girl.
I mean, there are things that,
Whew.
I think they miss Craig being the sidekick that was always down to do whatever. I don't think they like the fact that Craig is doing really well financially and is not there to be their little sidekick that they can kind of kick around,
Right. It's like Shep. I think Shep literally thinks he's the big man on campus amongst his friends. Because he is bigger than everybody. He may be more financially secure than everybody. So he feels like he's the leader, and maybe he's lost his subject, meaning Craig.
I think so, yeah. I mean, Chef doesn't realize it's like you are aging out of the system, dude. Like you are literally just like 5 years younger than Whitney, who looks like a drunken fool these days. A doddering, by the way, drunken fool. Whitney, get a clue. Um, and I just think that Shep doesn't realize like the sun is setting on that for you,
Oh,
You really do need to get with somebody that's ready to settle down and do things on your terms, because a woman like Sienna is never going to do that. She has her goals and ambitions.
yeah, it's like it's cuffing season this
Yeah,
season on
right.
Southern Charm,
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, the drama continues though, because the pH
girl,
balance, the pool is the bacterial infections. My God.
vaginono.
Mm.
Um,
So, stop hating on Craig. He's trying to live the quiet life. He likes his house. He's always been a homebody. Even when he was
really.
like doing too much Adderall, he would stay up for 3 days at his house. But anyway, I digress.
It's funny how production transitions now that they all hating on Craig and talking about they miss the old battered down Craig. Now we're talking
Right.
about Craig, right? So here are with Craig at the fabulous chateau.
That backyard is beautiful.
What do they call them down there? Not chateaus per se, but what's down there in was it Charleston? I keep forgetting what city they in.
Yeah. Well, I know they have like,
Carolina?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I'll figure it out by
Yeah.
next week. So there's the marvelous house of Craig and Paige,
Mhm.
and she's there, and she looks so cute in her mauve. Girl, oh, I love me good mauve, girl. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh, I got about 8-9 outfits of mauve in my closet. That is just too cute. I just love that color.
It's a
But
beautiful
yeah,
color.
like you mentioned, they finished that backyard. It looks like home and garden, of course. It is beautiful. Everything is perfect back there. It just looks so nice. And Madison is coming to visit, and they got the same outfit, different tops, but the same fit out. That looks so cute. Too bad Brett couldn't come with her, but yeah, they're and perfect outside kitchen. I mean, I'm jealous. I think I need to do something back there in my backyard. I don't know. I'm getting a little envious now. It just looks so cute. I love a good layout, a good landscape. Just being what's that word I'm looking for? Convenient. You don't have to go in the house. I mean, everything is there at your fingertips. Everything that you need outside is there at their fingertips. and it's just so convenient and comfortable. And I know Paige is just loving it over there when she comes down to visit. Oh, and did she lose a little stuff? A few pounds? She looked a little more fit.
Possibly. I mean, it's funny. They just won't let this relationship rest. Like, I swear, they mess with it on her show and they mess with it on his show. They show her like so disinterested, it's hot, whatever. And I'm like, like I don't know. Like, I just feel like they really want to pick apart this relationship, sometimes with the edit that they give them.
Yeah, folks hating. But Madison
Yeah.
comes in and she gives a little blowback about, her and Craig pretty much brings Paige up to speed about what JT said coming out of his mouth and the bitch thing and then Madison mentions that Brett's cancer was pretty much at the end of last season, but she kept it on the hush and quiet just so that they can have time to heal with his illness and not have it just so broadcasted to where he will feel uncomfortable in his healing journey. And that's how you're supposed to do it, if you ask me,
Yeah, when it's something like this, especially like it seems like I don't, I know he has to take medication now because he has an affected thyroid, but I don't think he had to go through chemo. And this is the kind of thing where once someone is past it, then you talk about it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if he were going to lose his hair and there was going to be an effect where you kind of had to let people know, pray for the journey. But this one is kind of one of those better to say after.
Yeah. So, they kept it real light. And that's pretty much it for them. We next go on to Rodrigo and is it husband? Are they married?
I think so.
Or are they just shacking up, child?
Fiance? I don't know. Significant other?
Okay, so Rodrigo and his significant other, Tyler, bought some dogs from an elderly woman. Not sure why. Maybe she just couldn't care for them. And they love their dogs, and they're having a birthday party for one of them. Is the dog's name Dolly Parton? Doggy? What's the dog's name?
I did not catch that part, and I am a dog
It is
owner,
so
but like,
funny.
yes, I mean, it's cute and all that, but when I was like, "You're throwing a dog party," part of me checked out a little bit.
I don't know. I forget the name, child, but apparently the dog is some type of symbol of Dolly Parton. So it's just going to be so cute later on in the episode. So pretty much, who that Austen told Rodrigo the tea. Again, these dudes be spilling tea like it's nobody's business,
They do.
So Austin was telling Rodrigo about the tea, about JT and all of his embarrassing moments at the cup. And Rodrigo telling Tyler, and he's like, oh no, I guess JT won't be coming, huh? And Rodrigo's like, nah, he ain't coming. I was like, ooh.
It's funny. Rodrigo's kind of the most like he got spicy at the reunion last season, and I'm not inviting him for doing that. I don't know. It's interesting. Rodrigo seems a little spicy.
And if you notice, Rodrigo's on the bottom left of this poster, y'all, near Madison's ponytail. That's Rodrigo, y'all. Yeah, and him and JT looking opposite. JT's on the bottom right. So I think they did that on purpose because I just don't think Rodrigo ever saw it for JT, not even last season. Or, Rodrigo got some feisty in him, child. But yeah, they just, shopping for doggy stuff and everything and, just spilling tea. So anywho, Patricia, speaking of JT, Patricia receives JT's apology letter. The complaint initially it was black marker, may have been Sharpie, on a hunter. No, what's that green? The hunter green?
I thought it was like midnight blue or something.
It was like that dark green envelope. I don't know, it was dark green envelope. So y'all just imagine black Sharpie marker on dark green envelope. You can't even really read who it. You have to put it, shine it in the light, flipping it with one leg up and blinking 5 times to see exactly who it's from. I'm like, what kind of mess is this?
I couldn't believe that's all he dropped off. I'm like, where's the flowers? Where's the gift? Like, where's the chocolate? The nice, like where or where's the gesture other than this stupid little letter?
So she read it out loud for Whitney to hear. It was her and Whitney. He was having his cocktail,
as usual.
And she read it and she was like, yeah, whatever, I don't appreciate it. She said, I can understand hearing what, hearing what he's trying to convey, but it was still offensive nonetheless, And then she said, inclusive. I thought the same thing. How is she not inclusive when she is a part of the group?
No, I think he was trying to say he meant to do it to be inclusive, to include her because he was giving them out to everyone.
See? Lost in translation.
I know.
Because I understood it like what you mean I'm not included? Like what?
Yeah, no, it was poorly done. And again, the reason that she wasn't impressed is because there was no gift.
Tell her. Like a woman wants to receive stuff. Patricia of all people.
Just do it like you really messed up. Just send her a beautiful arrangement and a little note. God. It's like the problem with JT is that he doesn't make the right move at any of the junctures where it's critical. You know what I mean?
He effed up.
Yeah.
Now they did discuss the bitch comment, but like Whitney, he was like, well, both of them are like, I don't think he would say anything like that. But Patricia said, well, he probably did, and folks are saying he did. But Whitney pretty much insinuated that, well, Craig is known to lie about stuff, so I don't think so. I'm like, well, if he don't lie, then that's a valid argument, in my opinion. What do you think?
I don't want to harp on a dead horse, but here I go. If he had sent flowers, he could have, the speculation of what he said, like, could have been softened to, like, not full erasure, but, like, do you know what I mean? If he had played this right, all of this stupid crap could be water under the bridge. But shame on Craig, though. Shame on Craig for, like, literally using this quote where, like, to this day, there's no proof.
Mm-hmm. And we know how production would have pulled that receipt in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Shep was on Watch What Happens Live and reiterated, I never heard him say that. That's why I said it during the episode. And, he's like, it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm like 2/3. No, he didn't. 1/3 maybe under his breath. I don't know. I'll give Craig a little bit, but I'm just hearing too much of no, he didn't say it from, it's just, I don't know. I wasn't there, so who knows what he could have farted. Who knows? I'm just saying.
I feel like production would absolutely be airing JT out to dry. I feel like Craig has this ADHD listening where he's relaying like whatever sentiments he got from JT. And I don't think that he really feels like he's straight up fabricating something. I think he's like, the way he's like remembering it is not responsible. But he also went on Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live, the episode before Shep did last night, and said that he's never lied on the show, on camera. And Andy about fell out his chair. And Shep said last night, are you kidding me? So, Craig's version of reality is a little soft like the pillows,
Uh-oh.
I know. We love Craig, but
just tension in the ranks. Okay.
Yep. I mean, we all love Craig, but I mean,
Yeah.
for him to say that he's never lied on camera was just
They've all lied, even Vanita.
absolutely
They all have not been 100% truthful.
Craig the
So
Delulu. Good
even
Lord.
Patricia.
Right? Oh, yes. Mm.
Well, that was it for them, y'all. You know, it is. We gonna get to the bottom of this bitch comment, anywho, before the season's over. So just stay tuned. Next, we gonna meet Sienna. She's visiting Shep. Shep is all googly eyed and love stricken and everything. You know, pretty much he's just trying to make plans with this woman. You know, of course, she came with her laptop because she got that. You know, she's a busy woman coming from the Bahamas, is where she is. And he's just in his confessional talking about, you know, he sees marriage and kids and carrying on. I mean, is he pussy wet? What's going on? Hey, Shep,
Uh,
what's going on? Do you sense him being pussy wet? Is the question.
I think that where he's at in his life, this beautiful woman has captivated him, you know? I
Breath of
think
fresh
he
air.
right, and I
Mhm.
think he's swinging hard, like, because he wants to be thrilled by the caliber of woman he's, like, attaining. Do you get what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, I don't think Shep's quite ready for marriage and kids, especially with this woman, ambitious lady, like, but I feel like he's at a place where, you know, he's not healed from Taylor. He's trying to do better, but he's still not willing to give up certain ways, and he wants to make a really spectacular relationship, help keep him in line.
I agree. I also think he's enjoying the change in his life.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And with this newfound uh, love interest, it kind of maybe aligns with his new way of living without so much alcohol. He's feeling,
Mm-hmm.
lighter. Like you said, he's working out, he's slimming, in all the right areas. So, of course, when you're changing your life and then you come across this breath of fresh air that is just amazing in all sorts of ways, maybe he is, changing and it's just all happening at once for him. You know, I hope it, well, I kind of know what's going to happen. But at least in this moment, he's enjoying all of the positive changes in his life. And that's a good thing for someone who's battling some type of substance issue.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for self-evolution, and living better than you did the year before is a step in the right direction. And
Yes.
I certainly am not one, I've done this a billion times where, I've defended a lot of people who've made mistakes with substances. And, I I am hopeful that Shep can get it into a gear where his life is more fulfilling for him. He seems to be going there, but we already know that, and this is the fault of production. We've already been led to believe that this girl is not here for necessarily genuine reasons, and that Shep kind of ends up, you know, being embarrassed. We have some foreshadowing, but we don't know yet. But that honestly, the way
Yeah.
that they have this storyline already foreshadowed for me as an audience member, it makes me
Mhm.
hard to invest in this relationship. It makes it hard for me to invest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
like waiting for the shoe to drop when I'm, watching.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's
Uh-huh.
still nice to see Shep, you know, looking at a relationship in a much more respectful way than he was with
Yes.
what's her face? Taylor.
Right. Good luck.
We're
Next week.
staying tuned.
Okay, yeah, stay tuned. Exactly. So next we see Molly. She meets up with Salley. Girl, Molly and Salley, girl. Salley is the
I know.
newest addition. Now, before when we discussed the new additions, you said it was the dude that Patricia knew like some financier dude and his husband, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not Rodrigo and Tyler.
Correct.
Okay, so we're gonna meet them more inclusively later on in the season. Then,
Yes, he went to
okay,
Patricia's Easter party, not
yeah,
the. Yeah. So, but yeah, he'll come back.
yeah, he was at the California Cup. That's where I first met
Right, with
Salley.
his very good-looking husband. They're a
Girl, both of them
beautiful.
fine, ain't
Yeah, I
they?
know. It's in the suits and the whole. Yeah.
Girl,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Top
so
tier.
girl, okay.
Yeah.
So Molly and Sally are doing their exercise, walking around town, and we have a little introduction. Now, I think
Mm-hmm.
they met at a retail store somewhere in the mall or something. And but more importantly, Sally's job is teaching robotic surgical techniques to the medical doctors and the like that are performing those in the operating room, which is pretty cool. Um, that takes a lot of skill. So she is smart. So we got some intelligence there, y'all. Uh, but knowing her in this group, she's gonna fit in real well because she has some pH balance, possibly some pH imbalance. As we joke about how they're all intertwined sexually in some form or fashion. So she used to dibble dabble with Shep, my man Shep.
Uh, she dibble dabbled with him once, and it didn't go well. Remember this story?
Mhm.
But she dated Gaston, Taylor's boyfriend.
There you go. So, we're gonna hear a little something a little later about that as
Yeah.
well. Speaking of Gaston, I love the transition because we're pretty much relating to you in the order as the show is going on for pretty much. So as soon as they're done, and by the way, Sally, I call her Shelly. Sally kind of gives a little angst about Gaston, how that didn't end too well.
She
Uh-huh.
said he cheated on her the whole time, broke her heart because she really thought they had something special. And she hopes that, Taylor's having a different experience, which is the PC way to be like, we'll wait and see, biatch.
Sometimes he's just not that into you, and perhaps you may be reading too much into it. I'm just saying, we got to
Or
give, credence to possibilities, even though we're hearing her side. And they're young, most likely. He may
well,
have not just been that into you, Miss Sally, and
and
you
you
thought things were different.
well, you know what else too?
Hmm.
Taylor at the time, Taylor was on a TV show and she's not. And I hate to say this, but it could possibly be as well that once Gaston started dating someone that's on a TV show, he knew that America was watching. And there are a lot of men that, like, once they decide to be in a more responsible mode, they're a different kind of dude for the girlfriend. And when they treated you like, garbage, it's just because they've got something that's motivating them enough to change. And that sucks. But now she's on the show, ironic twist of fate. So let's see what happens now.
And with that, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe he had ties to Southern hospitality before he had ties to this show. So perhaps he had those ties to Southern hospitality, getting all the things that you just mentioned, and not really seeing it for Sally, considering he got a little more movement. You know what I'm saying? Being having ties to Southern hospitality.
I don't know. Yes, I think didn't we figure out he's the roommate of somebody that works at Leva's bar,
Right.
and the way that Molly met Sally is they were both hostesses, I think, at Leva's restaurant.
No, I think it was some
Oh,
retail something,
oh, well,
a retail
anyway,
store.
so I mean, I think uh I think Gaston has probably had plenty of access. I mean, Sally's obviously a beautiful girl. I
Yeah.
think that I personally think like it just wouldn't surprise me if Gaston has cleaned up his act because he's on TV with Taylor. Best foot forward kind of thing. Doesn't mean that he's like It's just a lot of dudes ain't shit until they decide they're not going to be for whatever reason they decide. You know what I mean?
I sure do. Now, did you notice Sally's confessional? She had the darker brown hair and the blonde. She looks stunning with that darker brown. Did you notice the difference in how she looked?
I did. She, you know who she kind of reminds me of? I don't know if you remember this actress, Jerry Ryan. She was
No,
like on Star Trek and stuff.
Jerry. There's a few women named Jerry in the business, but not that one that I can recall.
I'll send you a picture off time. But yes,
Please do.
she's a beautiful girl, you know,
Gorgeous with that brown. I'm sorry,
yeah,
y'all. Just wait till you see it if you haven't already.
so I mean, it's clearly not because Taylor's like a way better a lot of anything. You know, Sally's clearly a beautiful girl, has got a good career, clearly smart to be training physicians on how to use surgical equipment. You have to be technologically minded. So, you know, it just makes it a little extra sauce to put in the mix because Lord knows Taylor doesn't want her besmirching Gaston's reputation, I'm sure.
Hello. And you know, they all look good,
They do.
even JT, even Austin. When I say even because we've been tearing them down this last season or two based off of the things that they've been doing. But no one here is unattractive. I'm sorry. And no, even Whitney, child, he looked halfway decent. I'm just saying.
He looks like a dried out Duran Duran dude. But you know, no, you're right. You're right. Absolutely. Let's be real. In like the scheme of things, none of these people are ugly. There's a lot of
Right.
beautiful ones. So, you know, that like the ones on the lower rungs, I mean, that was really I do, you know, we didn't talk about the Madison JT confrontation where, you know, she was like, "Look at yourself." And I was like, "Wow."
Oh yeah, that's at the end.
Right. Oh
We're
yeah,
gonna give
yeah,
all them that
sorry.
at the end. Yeah, we're
But
gonna give them all the
yeah,
juice at the end.
right. Okay.
But yeah, did you bring up the situation between Salley and Shep? Did I hear you say that?
Oh yeah, her thing is she wanted him to go home because she was embarrassed that they hooked up, and he was getting in the Uber like, "Oh God, I think something went wrong," and it's like,
That's molded. That's molded.
it sounds like it was one of those times he was describing last season about how he couldn't care less about the other person's good time and so hammered. Maybe one of his nights where they said he still had a few, where I don't know, didn't sound like anybody was impressed.
Girl, that's molded. Hey,
Oh,
you know, so everybody may have a bad night, but it's just, you know, it's just it just hit different when it's Shep because he has so much. He just thinks so much highly of himself that
he
that could
does.
never happen. Like, man, please go somewhere. 2 a.m, go home. What you still doing here? I know that's right. It's time to go.
Closing time, time for you to go. Yep.
Okay, so look, here we go from Gaston to Taylor. So here we go with Taylor, right? She's getting ready for the
Birthday party.
The doggy birthday party. And she calls Gaston to get his opinion on what just she called her man, y'all, before she goes to the party, checking on him. Apparently he works as a medical field rep of sorts. So he's always working, always gone. You know, he's got to get his quota up. He's selling medical stuff, pharmaceuticals, whatever the case may be. And she misses him, and they're just shooting the shit, on the phone, and he pretty much alluded to he doesn't really want to. He's not so gung ho about meeting her friends, although she's that way about him. But he's like, I don't really need to be around your friends, especially around your ex. You know what I'm saying? So he ain't that type. I guess it's just something she's not used to, considering that's what she's been around, where everybody's hanging around with everybody. But he
Yeah, I wonder if he also knew Salley was going to be there and was not looking forward to that kind of interaction either.
I don't think so. According to the next scene, okay, the way she was. Well, let's go into it because that's pretty much the end with them, right? Like you said, the next scene is when she kind of throws some shade, and then she's acting a little, Taylor is what we're talking about. She just act a little more bothered about Salley and Shep both being there. Maybe she's a little flustered, maybe because she's by herself. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because you and I both know everybody's pH is all over the place everywhere. You know
Girl.
what I mean? Like, they literally, that group is ridiculous with how, and it's been that way for years. So you would think that everyone would be comfortable in that situation. But I think, I don't know, maybe Taylor just felt outnumbered by the people who had had experiences, her versus them or whatever, you know? I think that Gaston was hot. You know what I mean? As we know, I was
Mhm.
like upgrade, but I also think Sally's a beautiful woman, and
For sure.
I just, the jury's still out on the caliber of his character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we ain't really
So,
seen him yet too much.
right. So I'm just paying attention right now, because like clearly this girl likes to have fun and pH it up like everybody else, but
Girl.
at the same time, like, um, yeah. I think Taylor got one look at her and was like, "Great, the girl that my boyfriend used to date is beautiful."
So for all y'all to hear us say the pH of it all, I always say that. So there's a lot of intermingling with the friend group. Some have gone on to greener pasture, not greener meaning that they're dead. Just gone on. They just went on. They're still alive and kicking. But the fact that some of the guys on the show, some have gone on to, they've all had the same girl at one point, very close together. And, again, Shep and Taylor was together for a while. Now Taylor's with Gaston. Gaston was messing with Shelly, the new girl.
Salley.
And then Molly. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said Salley. You called her
Yeah.
Shelly.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's hilarious. It's like either
What did
one
you call her
were
Shelly?
same kind of name. It's all right. Just
Okay.
Shelly and Sally. It's like how Alex says Shannon or Sharon.
Okay. Salley. And then we got Molly, the new girl too. She used to mess with Craig. Well, not physically. They had like a sexting thing. And she used to physically mess around with Whitney.
Yep. There's two.
And there was almost something with Vanita and JT, yet and still. And then there was almost something with JT and Taylor, but Taylor's like, no, we just friends.
And
So,
Austin and Taylor kissed.
Just about to say, Austen on the show and Taylor kissed while she was on and off with Shep. So, and then like
Madison and Austen.
Who?
Madison and Austen.
Thank you. Madison on the show used to hang out with Austen. Now she's married to Brett, who we were talking about earlier with the cancer stuff. So, that's why we say it's the pH balance of it all. Because, like, girl, let's get our pH together, ladies. It's really for the ladies because, we really, we're always talking about how women's pH may be off due to this or that, or maybe they're, matching up with someone who may not be, as compatible with them with their pH. Sometimes the bacterial vaginoma can come through not because of a STD or STI, but simply because their chemistry doesn't match. So pretty much it's the chemistry of it all, the pH balance of it all, in case you just to refresh your memory about folks intertwining. But yeah. Was that a good enough explanation? We got it?
Yeah, I think so.
We didn't miss nobody. Craig, no. Okay.
Oh gosh, yeah, I know. We could probably dig in there and like uncover some more, but I think we've made it pretty clear.
Yeah, people who ain't here no more, we could have said more, but they ain't here, so therefore they're not getting talked about because that would have been a whole another 6 minutes.
Cross-pollination is common.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at the party. The doggy pardon, like Dolly pardon. doggy Parton. They had this
Mhm.
Dolly Parton wig on the top
Yes, they do.
that didn't stay on for more than 2 seconds. You know, dog's like, what is this on my head? Get it off, get it off, get
Yep.
it off.
Yep.
But
She was
everybody
cute
was to
though.
bring their dog, and people who didn't have a dog brought a +1 with their dog. So everybody came respectively, but the only person that didn't have any pets was Leva. She came with a gift of sorts, so she's excused, okay? And JT was not invited.
No.
Because Rodrigo was like, I don't want no issues at my dog party. I don't blame him. Because everybody ain't don't see it for JT at the moment. Well, not everybody, but
Mhm.
So what else? Oh, now this part is what I was trying to get to earlier. Taylor, she was described. Now she was told by Rodrigo who was coming, Salley, and she said, "Oh, it was just like, oh, her," because like we mentioned, like you gave a great explanation about how Salley and Gaston didn't work out. And the way Taylor described Salley was like she was a throwaway puss that Gaston wasn't really interested in, but she was more interested in him. That wasn't why I said what I said, but I said what I said based off of young folks going out. And a lot of times girls get it misconstrued more times than dudes because we're more emotional,
Mhm.
but the way the way Taylor describes Salley, pretty much she don't see it for Salley at all, all capitals at all. But she was a little, two-faced a little bit by, oh, how you doing, hugging her and everything. I would just say hello from a distance. You saying all that shit behind her back. Why are you hugging her and welcoming her as if what you just said wasn't said? How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Well, it just dawned on me like Salley has slept with both her dudes. She's hooked up with
Mm-hmm.
Shep and she's hooked up with Gaston, which makes her direct confirmation competition. She's like, I could basically sleep with any dude you could get because I have. So, and I think that's funny. Didn't
Girl.
Salley say this is awkward? And then Taylor was like, we don't have to bring that up. Like, I don't know. I would rather
Yes.
have an honest moment than a fake one, but she wants to do that fake white woman nice shit that we're taught to do and that I have no interest in. I would much rather look at her and have her go, this is awkward, isn't it? Like, not, like,
Be truthful. Don't
yeah,
just,
isn't it? Yes, it is.
mm.
I hope you enjoy the party and then scurry off. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, because it's like it's very awkward circumstances. They, the way that Salley said it, like, I slept with your ex-boyfriend and you slept with mine because that's how Salley sees it.
I just really wish Taylor would put her big girl draws on. And that was the moment for Taylor to just be herself and not fake the funk as if she should welcome her with open arms, considering that's not what Salley did to her. Salley immediately said, okay, this is awkward because they know what they know about each other. So again, that would have been a perfect opportunity to say, I was just telling Rodrigo how awkward it was. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
something to that effect.
Yeah, I prefer directness and honesty as well, but as we know, some people like to like pretend like it's all good and it didn't bother whatever and let that be their non-confrontational route. But we'll
Mm-hmm.
see that bite them later, I'm sure.
That was crazy. And then, as you mentioned with the Shep thing and Taylor, she was describing Sienna to whoever she was talking to. Was it Lev or somebody? Oh, is that Shep's new girl? New girlfriend? She said, yeah, she's
The front runner.
the front runner, as if she's the main girl. Like, Taylor, you don't know nothing about their relationship, but you're assuming based off of your hurt feelings and what you supposedly know about him. But just like Taylor's trying to distance herself from Shep, not really give him any physical contact, not really, like she said, I deleted your number. Give him the benefit of the doubt. if he's saying this is my girlfriend and not someone he's just dating, that should give you a clue that, okay, he's serious about somebody. But she just couldn't see it.
Even though Taylor's not my favorite, I can understand why first of all, it's not natural to be around your ex that you had a serious relationship, that you really
Sure.
wanted to marry you, that,
Hello.
she wanted all those
Preach.
things from him, right?
Preach.
She was
Preach.
investing all of that labor into getting him to marry her, and she thought that's what she was gonna get, and she didn't. Instead, she just got cheated on and she left him. Now, I do think that I can understand, especially if he's like, oh, this is my girlfriend, and he's all happy to be in a relationship after what he did to her. I can understand her being bitter. You know what I mean? And at the same time, your point is true. I don't think she knows anything about his current relationship. And I do think it bothers her that he's so into this girl. Period. Because he is. It's obvious. Shep is very smitten, and in a way that he wasn't probably with Taylor, because he's kind of in awe of what this woman brings to the table, being as accomplished as she is. And unfortunately, Taylor's not. Taylor was his little sidekick that did whatever he wanted. So I think that that's definitely at play. Although, like I said, I kind of can't blame her for not necessarily being like detached from the whole thing, because it's never easy to see the ex that wouldn't commit to you so readily commit to somebody else.
Right. Now, one thing was a little awkward that I thought, how Leva and Rodrigo and Taylor, I forgot who else was at the table, if anybody else was there. They were discussing JT and how he was excluded from the group. And Leva wasn't in total agreement with that, considering how they tried maybe to do that before. But the fact that they're all a friend group, she felt like he should not have been excluded because of what, how people feel about him, because they're all a friend group, right? And I kind of got that Taylor and Leva didn't agree with him being excluded. And perhaps the bitch thing doesn't really sound like anything he would say, considering they all know him. But it may have just been lost in translation for some strange reason, pretty much validating what Shep and Whitney was relaying about JT calling Patricia a bitch. They just don't see how he could have said that, knowing that he doesn't even talk like that. So, he may have some backup when they talk about it later, is what I'm trying to say.
I find it odd because they show us two different scenes where somebody's saying, I don't really think he talks like that. And it feels very contrived. It feels like production, especially because Whitney said it, who's an executive producer, and then the way that they said it at the table. However, I will say this. I agree with them. I don't really see him saying that either, because he doesn't seem like the type to speak that way. I think, again, we would have seen it on camera. So I'm okay with the fact that the storyline feels a little forced, with the way that people are like, I don't know, Craig's a liar, whatever, because I also feel like I don't know why Craig is standing by the statement that JT said it. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that that's in question,
Maybe JT said it under his breath when they were at golf, and Craig took it as though he was calling Patricia a bitch when they were all discussing the Canes and the whole Carolina Cup event. Maybe he said it under his breath, and Craig mistook it as calling Patricia a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Because, he's in pain. He's going through it. He's like, bitch. Maybe he just said it just to say it, but it wasn't. I don't know. Because Craig obviously, like you said, stands by it. So it's going to come out. It's going to come out.
I just
So,
really like, especially after Craig tried to say he never lied on camera when he lied about taking the bar. Like we watched him lie for like 6 years of his life on this
girl, the
show.
first 4
And I
seasons.
love Craig. You know that. I do. I support him leaning into his brand, himself. And,
Mhm.
I think Austin's being unfair saying, I mean, Martha is cooler than Craig because she's friends with Snoop, but like, let the man stay home. Go over to his house and barbecue.
No.
However,
Mhm.
I think Craig is very mistaken. I just don't trust Craig's narrative, and I think he's reckless at the mouth with this one.
Well, speaking
So,
of, uh-huh.
oh no, so I'm just saying, I agree with the whole thing of like, you can't start excluding JT based on something Craig said.
Right. I think so too. Now, speaking of reckless at the mouth, Salley
Mm.
went on to give Gaston give him a little something while her and Shep was talking about Taylor's current. Now, remind me, how did Shep know Gaston? Because Salley was talking greasy about Gaston, and Shep was like, "Yeah, really." Like he kind of co-signed. I'm like, how did Shep know Gaston? Did I miss something?
I'm not sure. Yes. I don't know if it's what he's like heard around town. You know what I mean? Because it's such a small
Hmm.
world. But I don't have the direct 401. I didn't pick it up either. I just thought that
Mhm.
Shep sound like is arrogant and be like, yeah, I'm the one that got away. I know. I don't think he liked,
Girl.
but I think Taylor is more into Gaston than she was into Shep.
Girl, what's the tea, Shep? But he didn't say nothing last night on Watch What
He
Happens
did.
Live about
He
Gaston.
did.
I'm like, what?
Andy brought up the fact that he made the comment about how her parents, wanted, and he said, "Is that still the case?" And Shep said, when they first broke up, that's how they felt. He said that but not anymore, and that he's still in touch with her mother, and that he really respects and loves her family. So
Oh,
I,
okay. Well, that's
take that.
understandable. In the
Yeah,
beginning. Oh, you get back together. Okay, it's over. Okay, cool.
yes. I think that they are respecting whoever Taylor chooses to be with, but I think they
Yeah,
would have liked her to marry Shep. I do.
of course. I mean,
He had the pedigree, the family money, and their
all that,
all of it.
all that, all the things. Okay.
Yes.
Well, the last part of this party, Sienna points out to Shep that he, Taylor, Lil Craig, which is his dog, and Penelope, which is her dog, all have the same red handkerchief scarf. And that was the clue that Shep should have immediately taken out the red scars from him and Lil Craig, but he didn't catch the clue. I thought it was a clue, not just something funny she was trying to point out. What do you think about that?
Honestly, in an alternative universe, that's the way it should be. I think that Shep really like kind of messed up by like not getting it together with Taylor. He could have a nice life if he'd get his head out of his butt, but things have
Mm,
moved on. So I just thought it was funny. I mean, yeah, it probably was a clue, but like I don't know. I just thought it was kind of a sad what should have been.
mm, mm, mm. Speaking of what should have been,
Mm,
the infamous episode that JT and Madison had. Ramon. So Madison calls JT out the blue. Hey, let's meet up at the coffee shop. Can you come down? He's like, okay, cool. So he gets redressed and everything because he wasn't even dressed, child. And he just went, I think I know what this is about. Yeah, you
hmm
know what it's about.
You can't say that to those two and not think it's gonna get back.
Hello. Now, I kind of feel for both of them because I see Madison's point. So pretty much she was reading him for filth about how could you dare relay the message around town that you and I were hooking up and the fact that my husband believed that about us when that really wasn't the case. But the way she said it was if he's spreading rumors about her and him hooking up. I didn't hear much about that conversation that Brett and Madison called him, because from how JT explained it, he was kind of, searching for, maybe he did have it in his mind that he was checking on why were they spending time together. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think JT is far off. I just think that Madison is trying to really make sure that her husband believes that she's not hooking up with another castmate. That's what I believe.
Well, in JT's defense, Madison even saying that her husband called him to check up on where she was is weird. What kind of trust do the two of you have? Why is your husband calling JT? Why didn't you just, because you didn't call him one night, so he freaked out and was worried you were hooking up with Austen, is basically what you're saying.
Exactly.
And so you had to get an alibi straight, which is a little sus. And it's unfortunate for JT that he assumed that he would even have a chance with Madison, and not, instead of it really be about making sure that she wasn't with her ex Austen, because he looks foolish. But it is weird that Madison's husband is calling JT to confirm where his wife was.
Hello.
I don't even understand why if my husband needs to do that, we have a trust problem, Now I get it's weird to be on a show with your ex and all that, but like, that's interesting. That's telling. That makes me feel like they have a little bit, like, she has to check in with him, and then when she didn't, he felt insecure. I think JT actually did bring up a little bit of dirt, and I think part of the reason Madison is extra furious is that it does shed light on that. So but poor JT, it just made him look so dumb to think that JT that he would be checking up about worrying if they hooked up. But it's fair, because if the dude's calling him asking where his wife was up to, that's weird.
It's not so far off from JT thinking what he's thinking.
Yeah.
It is what it is. He received the phone call. JT received a phone call from a husband worrying about his wife's whereabouts.
Yeah.
The dude didn't call Austen, so JT would think, well, she ain't with me. Why would you think she's with me? He probably withheld himself from saying, well, why didn't he call Austen? That probably would have made her even more furious, if you ask. I'm just saying.
I know. Listen, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm sorry, but the situation's a little sus, Madison. So for you to be livid that he's, at the end of the day, you should be demanding, well, whatever. Everybody's taking what Craig said as the truth, where honestly, JT was running at the mouth, and this one was going to get him clocked, right? But he wasn't saying, like, whatever. She wasn't giving any of that the benefit of the doubt. And but in JT's defense, it's really weird that Madison's husband called and said, confirm where Madison was that night. Like, you can't deny that that's like a weird premise. So the gossip is there to be had. JT's perspective that it was him versus Austen is comical, but it's still not inaccurate about the fact that her husband's still calling, trying to figure out what she's up to. What up with that?
And the fact that we're discussing this, and that it wasn't, this particular part of the puzzle was not aired on the show, makes me think that perhaps it probably was discussed. Well, he called me, he didn't call Austen conversation, or it was just weird that he would call JT knowing that she had no dealings with, I don't know. I just maybe he did say it and it was cut out just to keep the narrative going that Madison is just really is just trying to straighten things out at home, because that's what it boils down to. She's making sure her home life is not uprooted by anything from her past. because she's dealing with one of the castmates that she used to be fucking on.
Right.
And then
And
she,
no, I agree.
And then she added insult to injury by bringing up, well, by calling JT a bitch because he called Patricia a bitch. She's like, wait, what? So that was when JT found out that people are going around saying that he called Patricia a bitch. And he was like, he adamantly denied it. Like, no, that I didn't. Madison didn't believe him. And like a gentleman, he apologized for misinterpreting the phone call from her husband, and she was just like, whatever, and just got up and left. Madison, your slip is showing.
Yeah, because I mean, she also was like, and for you to even think, look at you, like you don't need to do that. Your husband called him. No, I mean, look, nobody thought that. Nobody thought that. Just like Paige said, nobody thought that, JT,
Right.
except for you. Nobody did. However, your husband called him to get your whereabouts confirmed or denied or whatever.
Right.
That's weird. You don't have a straight up case of him fabricating nothing. So don't be so nasty to him that he drew some weird conclusions. Your husband made a weird phone call. Like, I would never have thought your husband would need to figure out where you are based on the way y'all seem in love and he's so cute and this or that and all of that. So to find out that he called JT and should have asked where you were, it was tea to me.
And he called with her. Both of them were on the line.
Yeah.
So he was pretty much checking her.
Yeah.
Calling some dude that she works with just to see if he can catch somebody in a lie.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. JT had every right to like kind of bring up that as odd. So anyway, she didn't need to insult him to that level. And if it were me, I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess maybe she's just overreacting to the whole thing coming on air. I don't know.
Yeah, she often does.
True. This is true. Madison does put 50 on 10.
And that's not, and it just leads me more to believe that she told him about Alex Rodriguez. So he knows his wife has a tendency. Wink, wink.
Well, I mean, everybody knows. He's got to know. You know what I mean? Like that's known.
Craig spilled that tea like boom, like ooh.
Yeah. So
Craig.
I mean, I guess that's interesting.
Girl, that tea was like piping. It was so hot. The when it spilled out, it was still steaming.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, next thing you know, Alex Rodriguez and J-Lo are separated. What?
Yep.
She must have been watching the show.
I mean,
sure. I mean, it was a matter of days, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Page 6 picked it up, and we all know. Yep. Yeah, it was quick. It was clearly in response.
I knew when Craig said the ex-baseball player, I said, Alex goddamn Rodriguez. Must be him. He's the only one out there that's popular enough for us to even figure it out. Oh, but anywho, yeah, I think with all of what we just discussed, Madison, your slip is showing, boo-boo.
Yeah.
So you just gave a storyline that may or may not be explored for the remainder of this season. I'm just saying.
Yes. Well, we did see foreshadowing that the cancer might have spread, and let's just hope that it hasn't.
Yeah, let's hope. Well, that was it. Anything else about this episode, mamas?
Nope. TV, to be continued. I almost said TBD. To TBC. Well, I mean, it's coming along.
Hey, y'all, as you can see, stuff is going on with this show. Things is being revealed, even though we're discussing narratives that aren't really discussed on the show. They're very valid. Just the whole issue of folks' husbands calling folks to figure out where their wives are. It's just it's a lot. But yeah, y'all, that was Southern Charm. We hope you come back and here are the rest of the reviews we're going to have for this season. We're going to have more, y'all. Remember, we just got done with Selling Sunset on Netflix, and Drag Race is coming up in about 3-4 weeks. We'll be reviewing that. What is the other show we were going to do? I forget. Drag Race, of course, the Drag Race All Stars. Of course, we're gonna whenever that comes up. I can't recall. It was something else, but anyway, just check out the library. Go back and watch whatever we've done or anything I've done, and we're gonna figure out where Aaron's gonna be until next week. Where are you gonna be, Mama?
You can catch me on Instagram if you would like to get a psychic reading, psychic_ELB, psychic E or Aaron. You can also catch me on occasion. I pop in on Alexander Rogers' channel, and I will be here again next week.
All righty. So that's it, y'all, for Southern Charm, season 10, episode 3. With my girl Erin, and we will catch you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye. All day.